Hi. So we're BolderThinking, and we have great news. We are the absolute last demo. So that alone should be good news. So come on. Yeah. So,
We do a magic show after this too, so.
Exactly. I give up. I'm just going to do this. So I don't know what's going on. So we're a cloud-based telephony platform. The big story for us is that we are no hardware. The implementation doesn't require any hardware at all, and we run completely in commercial clouds. So that allows us to scale infinitely, that allows us to do some very interesting things with some very interesting customers, a few of which we've put up, and it allows us to have a completely elastic architecture, which means we can scale up when we have lots of calls, we can scale down when we have no calls, like at 2 a.m. in the morning, unless something's going really poorly. So we thought we'd really take this time to do two stories. The first is one around a better consumer experience, and then the second is one around a better sales experience. So we thought we'd try and tell a story and then show you just two quick demos. The first is about Camille. And this is the best picture we could find of a Camille. And Camille, it turns out, has made President's Club at her company. So Camille is going to try and book her trip to President's Club, which it turns out is in St. Thomas, which is not where they send developers, it turns out. And she tries to book her reservation at her hotel, and so she goes to the hotel's website and begins the process of identifying a room. And she can book her dates and do all of those kinds of wonderful things. But it's not quite showing her where the corporate rates are. So she can kind of do this, maybe, as she navigates, find the private villa maybe. Seems like a good place to stay. And there's the corporate rates. But when she clicks on the corporate rates, it turns out it's actually €25 more per night, which doesn't really seem to make a lot of sense. So she can click on asking a question. Now, this actually uses an NLP engine that we have in the background, and what we're trying to do now is actually do some speech recognition by capturing the voice elements. So I'm going to try and do this live, and let's see what happens. Corporate rate information. There it is. So you can ask now, and it turns out that the NLP engine doesn't really have a good answer. It says, in incredibly small text, that we should speak to someone in the call center. So that allows us to kind of establish a call with someone in the call center. You can hit allow. And what we're trying to do is pass on the complete interaction to...
Okay. Hey, folks, I'm the agent. I'm accepting the call. Can we get my screen up on the up on stage? On video 12? Audio? People? Switch to 12, please. All right, we're going to have to launch that one more time. Okay. He's getting there? Are we there? All right, thank you. Okay, so I'm the agent. As you just saw, Alex just launched a call to me. We got Camille Johnson. So this was pre-populated through our WebRTC client. So as a call center agent, I'm accepting the call. It's a WebRTC call, but we also gathered all the data on the website, pushed that together, and pushed this to the CRM package. So as the agent, I can see who's calling. And I can also look at the pre-populated data. I can see that Camille went to Hotel X. I can see she logged in. I can see she was checking the dates, the corporate rate. She had a question. So I'm getting all this rich information so I can start off and have a conversation with Camille in advance. So we can have a great dialogue at the very beginning. Also, at the very last click, I can see that she clicked to talk to us. Hence, she's in our call center. I do want to state just briefly that we are a full call center product. And just briefly, if we come over here, you can look at some of our call center reports. These are all WebRTC calls that have been made into this contact center. So all your favorite metrics are here that we've all come to know and love. Things like calls arrived, average speed of answer, calls abandoned. I can look at this on a per queue basis. And I've also got all these graphical reports to give us more richer, deeper information about my contact center. These reports are also completely modifiable. And again, these are all WebRTC calls, so it looks just like any other contact center.
As you can see, we did a little too much testing. Nobody makes 34,000 calls in a day. What we just saw essentially was a simple widget to add voice, and you've seen a number of those. The second we think that's interesting is speech recognition and the ability to do that essentially in almost real time. The third is, from our perspective, the ability to deliver WebRTC as SIP and as TDM. So in this example, we delivered it to somebody else's CRM, but we could do that to a CRM, we could do that to an actual physical phone, we could do that wherever you needed. And then finally, data with the call. So it's actually a rich experience for the agent. Obviously, we can do video and all of those other things. Obviously, we can do screen recording, call capturing, all the rest of those other things. So I'll skip those because those are really more call center-centric, standard feature kind of things. So the next story we want to tell you was about this guy named Chris, right? And Chris did not make President's Club. So his situation's a little bit more dire. And Chris continues to travel and continues to work. And he needs something better than this phone. Not that there's anything wrong with that phone, but he just needs something more efficient. So what we've built for the Chris's of the world is something that looks like this. I'm just going to save that. And the idea is that in one place, on any device, on an iOS device, on an Android device, in an app, is everything that Chris needs to be able to be an effective salesperson. So all the LinkedIn data about the customers he's speaking to, all the email he has about that customer. If he has the customer's Twitter address, all that's happening around the Twitter address for that customer. And so he can do all kinds of things like, have a conversation with the customer, obviously do video and do all of those other things. But he can also make calls. Right here, he can receive calls, he can do all of those things, and then again, it's all in context. So with every call he gets, with every interaction that he has complete context as to who's calling, and he can make decisions about how to answer those calls, how to manage those calls, and where to deliver them. So he can start building his own rules, right? His own version of Ring Central, for the lack of a better term.
I'm having some cell phone issues, Alex.
In about 30 seconds, we will show you how a phone works. So here's a call. I can take it here. I can forward it to my desktop. I can send it. I can forward it. I can hit speakerphone and get the call, and then get the video associated with that. But I'll skip the video and the call function. I'll skip the video functions and the actual physical call because you get the idea. But the idea fundamentally is that it's a rich interaction with complete context, right? We pull in everything from all the external sources that are relevant to this conversation with, in this case, Craig. So it's a fully functional phone. We have the integrations to calendar, to email, to social. It allows complete BYOD, and it allows, in this case, our Chris to be able to have just an app, an iPad or any tablet, and be able to actually take the call on the tablet. Be able to take the call on an iPhone, to be able to send it to his cell phone as he heads out, all of those kinds of things. And then obviously, finally, we have iOS support. So that's what we wanted to show you. Thank you very much for staying till the absolute end. And we're done.